Good morning everyone. So today we are going to discussing about we'll do some practice to understand that joins, and then we can move on to that variables, and we'll understand that what is a variable, how to use that variable, how to declare the variables, what is the purpose of variable, and then we can start practicing the functions, string functions in SQL. Okay guys, so now today we are going to see this. Let's understand this once first. So I am going to connecting. See, now here we have this practice joins with ones. So we'll see this. What is this practicing with ones? See this guys. So now okay, this is fine. See, let's see this. This is what the table T1 and the table T2. These are the two tables and the column 1 C1 and C1. Column 1, column 1. So let's see this. These are the two tables T1 and T2. So I am going to join these two tables. These are the two tables. I am going to joining. I am just doing inner join. When I am going to do inner join, what results will come, guys? How many results will come finally? I am going to join these two tables, table T1 and the table T2, and we have two columns C1 and C1. We are going to join these two tables based on these two columns C1 and C2. Then how many records will come? See that this one is, so this is join operation. Join means it has to verify for matches. This one is going to match with all these four. So this one will join with all these four. And this one, that blue color one will match with all these ones, and this blue color one will join with all these ones. See that now here, the same thing it is showing up. The yellow one matching with all the ones, it is joined with all the ones. And the blue one match with all the ones and join with all the ones. So now here, so total how many records it is produced? 16 records it is produced. Because this one is matching with all these ones, so it is simply joined. And this blue one, this one match with all these ones, so it is also joined with all these ones. And this red color one match with all these ones, so it is joined all these ones like this. And for suppose if I am using left join, what results will come? It will be the same results. If I use a right join, what results will come? So this right join means, guys, we already discussed. Right join means it will go to the right side table and take record by record and try to match with all the, try to find the matches from outer query, outer table. So if any matches are there, then join that records. See this one. See now here right join will go to right side table. That's what a T2. Go to the table T2. So go to the table T2 1 and then try to find the matches. It is matched with all these fours. And then go to this one, next record, and then try to match. So this is matched with all this one, and then go to this record and it match with all this one, and then go to this one and match with all this. See now here, guys, the left join it is showing up. The difference between left join and right join. You see, so it is going to right side table. The left join will go to left side table and take a record by record. Take first record and join with all this because it is matching, and then take this record and then join with all this. See now here most inner join and left join results are same. Inner join and the left join results are same, and so in this case it is same, guys. In this case, in these two tables it is the same. And right join, you see that right join, what this right join is doing, so it will go to right side table, go to table T2. Right side table is a T2. So go to table T2, record by record, and try to find the matches. Yes sir, matches are there. Then join those records. So this record is joined with all these four, and this record is joined with all these four, and this record is joined with all these four like this. And similar way full join. What is that full join, guys? We already know. So full join, first it will go to outer table and try to find the matches. If any matches are there, join those records. And then go to the inner table. If any non-matching records are there from inner table, then join those records as well. That's what full join, right? So but here we have all records are matching, so that's why it is showing up. Everything is joined. And a similar way cross join. Cross join, what it will do, guys? Each and every record from outer table will join with each and every record in a inner table. So now so this record blindly, there is no, so when it is doing that cross join, sorry guys, I think we should not have this on. It is not there on. that on predicate is not applicable for cross join. So now select star from T1 cross join T2. So now in this case, so each and every record from outer table will blindly join with all the records from table T2. There is no kind of, it will not looking for matches or not. Those are not applicable for cross join. Okay. So this record, first record from outer table join with all the records in inner table. Second record from outer table will join with all the records in the inner table. Okay. That's what here it is, guys. For suppose if we have the data like this, so now we can understand it very well. So now here for suppose if we are going to, so this is what the data, I added one more record, guys, 2 and 3 here. So this is going to take only matching records. Matching records means this one is matched with all these 4s, and this blue one match with all these 4s, and this one match with all these 1s, and this one, the white color one refers, this is matched with all these 1s. So now that's what, wherever it is matching, it is join those records. Wherever it is matching, join those records. That's what inner join or join operation. And left join, what it will do? It will go to left side table, try to find the matches in the right side table. Go to left side, take record, first record from left side table. This one is having any matches? Yes sir, 4 matches are there. Then join those records. This one is also having 4 matches. Join those records. Here it is, guys. And this one is having 4 matches. Join those records. And this white color one is having 4 matches. Join those records. Join those records. And this 2 is having no matches. Still display that 2 with null. That's what left join. And right join, go to right side table, go to this table, record by record, try to find the matches. Any matches are there, join those records. If no matches are found, still display that record with null. That's what right join. So go to this record, how many matches? Yeah, 4 matches are there, then join those records. And go to this one, and 4 matches are there, join those records. And go to this one, 4 matches are there, join those records. And go to this one, 4 matches are there, and join those records. Okay, and this is 3, it is not having any matches, so then still display that record 3 with null. Okay. So this is what here it is. Okay. So now here, so this is what a full join. So full join will display all matching ones and the non-matching records from both sides. And cross join, the cross join, what it will do, guys, it will go to outer table and blindly. So this one will join with all these ones, all these records. So now see that one is joined with all the records in inner table, and this one will join with all these records, and this one will join with all these records, and this one will join with all these records. And 2, the record 2 will join with all the records. This one will join with all the records. Okay. So if in case if both are having nulls, null will never and ever match. Null is, if you, for suppose here it is null is there, and here it is null is there. Null is always going to consider as non-matching only. This null equal to null, that is false. Null not equal to null, that is also false. Null represents unknown. Null represents unknown value. Unknown value equal to unknown value. Is that true or false? That is false only. Unknown value not equal to unknown value. That is also false. So null refers unknown value. When we are going to compare 2 nulls, it is always false. So it is never and ever match. Null, don't say that null is a value. Null is unknown. Unknown value. There is something unknown. How can we say unknown equal to unknown? Unknown equal to unknown is considered as a false only. So even if you have 2 nulls here, those are not going to match. No match between 2 nulls. Never and ever 2 nulls will match. Okay. So that is what here. And here you see 2 is there, and this 2 is going to blindly join with all these records in a cross join. So in a cross join, it is not looking for matches, blindly join. That's it. Okay, this is what, guys. So now if you have null here, okay, let me show that again. Okay. Suppose here you have the null and here you have the null, so it is not going to match, guys. So this 2 going to consider as non-matching records. Okay. even though it is null. Don't say that null is sir, this is null equal to null, this is true. No, null represents unknown value, something unknown. You have to understand like that. Null represents there is something, but that is not unknown, that is not known, that is unknown value. Unknown value equal to unknown value, that is false. That never and ever equal, right? Unknown value equal some unknown value is equal to some another unknown value. Is that true or false? That is false. So that's why these two never and ever match. These two will never match, null and null. And at the same time, I can't say that these two are not match. So that's why when you are going to say null equal to null, that is false. Null not equal to null, that is also false. That's why nulls are not comparable. Nulls are not comparable. So that's why this null will not going to match with any of these records. And the similar way, this null is not going to match with any of these values. Okay. So this is what the nulls values. So let me save this one. Yeah, it will appear. Yes. So this is what, guys. So now this is what the practice, some practice with the left and right joins with ones. Can you go on mute, guys, please? I am getting a lot of disturbance in the background, and I can spare some time, guys. After this class, you can put all your questions and write down your questions in a separate paper. So before end of the class, you can ask all the questions. I will address definitely, no problem. Yeah, please go on mute. Yeah, thanks. So now here, guys, next session is on variables. We are going to understand the variables. What is the variable, and we'll see that. What is the usage of the variable? All that. So now just give me a minute. I am going to open that file here. Okay, guys. So now we are going to see the variables. What is the variable? How to use the variable, and what is the purpose of the variable? All that we can see one by one. Guys, don't see all these notes, so I will come back to these notes again. So now here the variable. What is the variable? So when we want to store a single value as a temporary basis, we can declare one variable. See that now here specify the variable, and a variable name always starts with @ symbol. So now in SQL, guys, in MS SQL, these variables, this is the usage of the variable is same, guys, across all the database systems. But the way we are going to declare the variables and assigning the values, that is different in a PL SQL and a Transact SQL. So in the MS SQL, so we are going to declare the variable with @ symbols, and we are going to define what type of value we are going to store in this variable. This is my variable name, and I am going to store some value in this variable. See now here I am storing the value CHRD in this variable. Okay. So before we start using the variable, first we need to declare that variable. Declare the variable name @emp name. @ is always, any variable always starts with @ symbol in MS SQL, and this is what the data type varchar, and this is what the size. So this size represents 100. 100 means 100 bytes space we are going to allocate to the value what we are going to store in this variable. So now how do we store the value in this variable? So this is what the value CHRD, and we are going to store this value into this variable. And how do we check it out? What value is there in this variable? So verify the value in that variable. We can use this select clause, or else we can use a print function to see what value is there inside this variable. And store the different value. You can also store the different value. So now when we are going to store another value in this variable, the previous value will get, so it will replace on the previous value. The previous value, that is what CHRD, will no more in this variable. That variable will have the value now hello, and we are going to see what value is there in this variable. See now, guys, here one thing we have to remember: when we declare this variable will get created in the memory, and then we are going to store the value in that variable, and then we can use that variable in our SQL queries. We are going to use this variable in the SQL queries, guys. So that is fine. So now here when comes to the execution phase, we have to declare that entire lines, entire batch we have to select and click execute. So we can't execute line by line, guys, like this. Execute this line first, and then this line separate, and then this line separate, and then this line separate. We can't do this because the main reason is, so this variable will be there in the memory. So I said when we declare this variable, when we execute this line, what will happen, guys? This variable will get created in the memory. How long it will be there in the memory? That's the question. That's the important question. So how long this variable will be there in the memory? Once the execution of this program is completed, let's say I selected only these lines from 15th line to 19th line. Once these lines are execution is completed, then automatically this variable is gone from the memory. That will not be there in the memory once the execution is completed. So that's why when we executed these lines together from 15th line to 19th line, then when it is executing all these lines, the variable will be there. Once this 19th line is completed, the variable is gone from the memory. That is not available in the memory. So that's the reason we have to select all these lines, because once you've done this execution, let's execute. Now we executed this. Now we executed these lines from 15th line to 19th line. But anyway, 15th line is not executed because that is a comment. And the 16th line we declare the variable, and the data type is varchar of 100, and 17th line is empty. 18th line is again comment. So comment lines will not execute. And the 19th line we are storing a value, we are assigning a value to the variable EMP name. So here this is what EMP name equal to CHRD, we are assigning this value. So verify the value in the variable. So now if you are going to execute now, the variable is not there in the memory. Already the variable is gone. When we executed these 4 lines, variable is declared and we stored some value in that variable, and immediately the execution is completed. That's why this variable is gone. See that. Let's click execute button. Now the execution is also completed. Execution is completed now. When the execution is completed, this variable is not there in the memory. So now if you are going to execute now, this time what will happen? It will throw the error saying that boss, this variable is not there in the memory. You have to declare this variable now again you have to declare that variable. So that's what it is saying, must declare the scalar variable. It is not there by this time. That's the problem here. So that's why what we are going, when we are declaring the variables, and if you are using that variable in your program, you have to execute all those lines together. See now here I am going to execute all these lines together. So what will happen when it is going to start from 15th line to 27th line? During the execution of all these lines, the variable is there in the memory, because I am going to execute all these lines together as a batch. So the variables are available in the memory until it is done 27th line. After 27th line, the variables are not available because execution is going to be completed after executing 27th line. So as soon as execution is completed, the variable is gone from the memory. Let's execute now. See that now I am able to execute. I am able to see what value is there first. So when it is executing 22nd line, it is showing CHRD, and when it is executed 22nd line, it is showing CHRD. When it is executed 27th line, it is showing hello. Okay guys, so now here you see this. First we declare this variable. This is what declare employee name varchar of 100, and put a value in this variable CHRD in EMP name, and what value is there in employee name, that is what it is displaying. In the 22nd line we are verifying what value is there in that variable EMP name, and now it is again we are storing the different value hello into the same variable, and again we are verifying what value is there in the EMP name variable. Let's go back to these notes. So a variable can store a value. Yes, what we can say, this value is a scalar value. This is what scalar value means, a single value. So a variable can store different values during the execution of the program. So that means here you see we have stored 2 values. First we stored one value and later we stored different value. So a variable has the capability to store different values during the execution of the program, but not more than one value at a time. Only one value at a time, but different values it can store during the execution of the program. First one is, how do you start using these variables? First we have to specify the variable name along with its data type. That's what declare variable. That's what first we have to define the variable. So that means declare the variable. That's always variable name starts with @ symbol, and rest you can give any name, that's not a problem. And data type, what type of value we are storing, and size, depends on the data type, size is applicable. And next thing is we can start using that variable. Using that variable is nothing but we can start storing the values in that variable, and that is what we are going to say, assigning the value to that variable. So as soon as we declare the variable, it will create it in the memory. As soon as execution of the query or program completed, these variables will be deleted from the memory. So as soon as when this step is executed, guys, in this batch, in this program, the 16th step is executed, it will create this variable in the memory. What value will be there in this variable at the time when it is created, this variable in the memory? What value will be there inside that variable? Null will be there. After that we are storing some value. So by default, when the variable is declared, in that variable we can see the null value. So in the coming sessions we will see that. Okay. So this is what, guys, variables, declaring the variable and assigning the values. So now we are going to start using these variables more and more in these string functions while testing this string functions. And also we can use these SQL queries as well to practice these string functions, guys. So now we are going to start the functions class, guys, and we have the functions, different types of functions: string functions, date functions, aggregate functions, and windowing functions. So we can start today string functions, and coming sessions we will see other functions as well: date functions, aggregate functions, and windowing functions. So as part of string functions we have some functions, guys, and we are going to understand how to use these functions. See that now here we have the substring function. So don't read these notes, guys, right now. So we'll practice with this substring and then we'll come back to these notes. Substring function and char index function and the len function, rtrim, ltrim, rtrim, stuff, replace, reverse, upper, lower. So these are very frequently used functions in our SQL, and we are going to use these functions in our day-to-day when we are querying the data, when we are checking out the data from the database. We are going to use these functions for different purpose. So now here we can start using the substring function, guys. So now we can use these functions in a select class and in a vary class. When we are going to write one select query, we are going to use all these functions. Not only in a select class, select query, guys, we can use these functions in update also. When we are updating the data, we can use these functions. When we are inserting the data, we can use these functions. Okay, so that's fine. So now we are going to start with the substring function. What is the usage of this substring? Substring. String means what? String means it's nothing. It represents a character's alphanumeric value or else a character based value. Let's say the best example for string value is our email ID. Email ID is the best example for string value. String is nothing but it's a character based value that can have A to Z, 0 to 9 and some special characters. All these together we can say a string value, or else only A to Z characters we can say string value, and a combination of A to Z and some 0 to 9 values, then we can say that is also a string value. And A to Z, 0 to 9 and special characters together we can also say that string value. So substring represents, that is a portion, that is a part of value. Substring represents, that is a part of the value in the string value. So substring represents. So now let's see this, guys. So we will do that one. We'll do that practice. Here I declared the variable. What is that variable name? @name1. This is my variable name, and the data type is varchar. That means I am going to store some string value. Varchar represents character based value. It's nothing but a string value, and total size is 1000 bytes. I am going to store a value which can occupy maximum 1000 bytes, and @name1 equal to, this is what the value, guys. So what it is saying that hello, I am CH Reddy from Bangalore. So this is what the value, what we are going to store in this variable, and from this value I want display only some specific portion, specific value. Let's say I want display only CH Reddy, or else I want display only this part. So this is overall what it is saying, that this is a string value, this is a character based value, this is alphanumeric value, and we can say this is, technically we can say this is a string value, and from this string value I want display a portion of the value. That is what we are going to say substring, and we can use this as substring function to display a portion of the value. Let's say here this is what I am going to use a select substring. That means display some portion of the value from this name1. So now here let's understand this is a substring function. So for this substring function, the substring function is taking the value from this variable. First substring function will take this value. Substring function, what is this guys? Substring function is having 3 parameters. I am going to say this is 3 parameters. See that now here, this first one is represents parameter 1, second one represents parameter 2, and third one represents parameter 3. Or else in other programmings you can say arguments, argument 1, argument 2, argument 3, but that's fine. So this is parameter 1 and parameter 2 and parameter 3. Total 3 parameters. The substring need 3 parameters. First parameter we have to specify the actual value, actual string value. So that actual value is there inside my variable. So I used that variable in this function. That means @name1 variable contains some value, and take that value. Whatever is there inside this name1 variable, take that value. And within this value, so 12 represents the 12th character. So here guys, these positions will start from 1. So from left to right we have to count the positions from left to right. So the left side, first character H will, the position of H is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. See now here we have to count that as empty space, that is a space character also, 6 and 7 and 8. See that in a 6th place and 8th place we have the space character, we have to count that one as well, and 9, 10, 11, 12. So what is there in the 12th position? In the 12th position this is C is there, this is C is there. That means, so what does that mean by 12? This is the second parameter represents from which position you want to display that, you want to take the substring, you want to take the portion of the value from 12th position onwards. That means from this position onwards I want to take it out substring. How many characters? This is the third parameter represents from starting position, that is a 12, from 12 to how many number of characters you want to take. From 12th position to next 7 characters guys here. This is the 12th position and the next 7 characters including 12th. Including 12th I want to display 7 characters including 12. That means already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means this value I want to display that. So now see this guys, substring function, what it is doing, it is taking the actual value, that it can take the value directly or else it can take the value by using variable names. And this is what the starting position of my substring. That means in this actual value, you will take it from a 12th position, take the substring from 12th position, including 12th position 7 characters you can take. That means from including this 12th position character, take 7 characters. So that's what it will take. This is chready. Let's execute this whole program and see that what value it will return. The select command, it is going to return what value. We'll see this. See now it is written, the select command is written chready. Okay, this is what substring guys. So the substring always take 3 parameters. It needs 3 parameters. Parameter 1 represents the actual value, and parameter 2 represents the starting position of the substring, and parameter 3 represents how many characters needs to display from starting position, including starting position, how many characters you wanted to display. So similar way, let's see this, we have some kind of practice here. Take the same value name1, whatever value is there in name1, take that. And now here it is saying from a 17th character to next 7 characters. 17th character means, which one is the 17th character guys here? Let's say this C is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That means here from 17th character to next 7. Next 7 means including 17th character. So 17th 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is what it is going to display. That's why I mentioned here what output it is going to display, this one. Because this in the 17th position, this is what the D. Including 17th position, next 7 characters. That means this portion will display. And a similar way, take the value from name1 variable, take this whole value, and from 25th position. What is there 25th position guys? 17 plus 7, 24, and I think this is what the 25th position, B, and the next 5 characters, including B, and the next 5 characters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. It is what it is going to display finally. And from first position 1 comma 15 means from the first character. 1 means first character to next 15 characters. That means up to here it is going to display all the characters. Let's execute these queries and let's see this, guys. You see that now the first substring is displaying chready, second substring is displaying dy from, third substring is displaying danga, and fourth substring is displaying hello I am chrd. So the purpose, see that now here substring, or else instead of specifying the variable name here, we can also specify some value here, any value, guys, any valid string value, any value, and within this value from 8th position to the next, including 8th position 5 characters I want to display. So now that means let's count what is the 8th position value, 8th position character. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. That means here it is, I got this is what the, sorry guys, sorry, okay, let's count it again. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. In the 8th position we have the L, the character L is here, and including character L I want to display 5. 1 2 3 4 5, total 5 characters. So the output will be LKWLF. That will be the output. Now let's execute this one. See that LKWLF. So we are going to display a portion of the value by using the substring. So let's see this, guys. I am going to connecting to our database. We were using our database 602, and in this database we have the employee table. Let's execute. We have this employee table, and now here, guys, I want display. So now here, see, I am using the substring function in the select class. I am using the substring function in this select class. You see that now here I am using this substring function. To this substring function I am passing email ID column. See that now here, guys, in the substring function the first parameter we passed here variable, and here we passed direct value, and here we are passing column name. While reading the data from employee table, take the data from employee table, and while displaying, what I am doing, guys, I am taking record by record. Take this record, and in this record what is the email ID? chr1@csi.com. So in the email ID, what it will do, guys, it will take chr1@csi.com, and from first position to next 5 characters. So from first position to next 5 means chr1@, that one will be displayed, and this will be the column name. Column name will be as email substring. So one more new column will appear here. That column name will be email substring. Let's execute this query and we'll see the results. See this, guys, here. So now here, so this is email ID substring. So how this column is coming up, guys? In the select class we have written a substring as a separate column. That column name is, we mentioned that column name is as email substring. So this represents the alias name for this column expression. Guys, these column expressions, these column names, all that will be addressed in detail in the substring. We have that separate sessions, guys. That is what subqueries. At the time of subqueries, I will discuss. I will talk more and more about this. Okay. So column expressions, and this is what we are going to calling as a derived column name. But for now, I can call it as a alias name for this column expression. Okay. So substring. So now what it is doing, guys? This is a function. It will take in this record. In this record, what is the email ID? chr1@. Take this email ID. Within this email ID starts from 1, next 5 characters. Starts from 1, 5 characters. So it is what it is displaying, 5 characters, including character 1. So similar way, so take second record. For second record, in the second record, what is the email ID? greg2@csi.com. So it is displaying greg2 from this email ID 1,5. See that we are using these substrings in a select class, and as well as we can use this same way the substrings in a where class also. So write a query. So now one more requirement here, guys. Write a query to display the employees whose email ID starts with the CHR. Whose email ID starts with the CHR. You see that now here I am using in a where class. Take the data from employee table. In the where class, substring. Take the substring of email ID 1,3. If it is that is equal to CHR. So now what the where class will do, guys? Where class will go to first record. Where clause will go to first record. What value is there in employees data? So this is what the results are there. What this where clause will do, guys? This where clause will go to first record, record by record. Go to first record and apply this condition. And then go to second record, apply this condition. Go to third record, apply this condition. Go to fourth record, apply this condition. So where clause it go to this first record. In the first record, let's apply this function. So now it is going to take substring from the email ID column value. In the first record, email ID is chr1@csi.com and 1,3. 1,3 represents starts from 1 and including 1 3 characters. Including 1 take the 3 characters. So that means chr. So finally this is going to return chr. So if that chr equal to chr, that is true. So take this record because this record is passed the condition. And check second record. In the second record, substring email ID 1,3. So it is going to take GRE. It is not going to finish. It will take only 3 characters. Starts from 1, including 1 3 characters GRE. So that GRE. So finally this substring is returning GRE. For second record, what it is written? GRE equal to chr. The condition is false. So this record it will not take this record. It will not take this record. And glue to here. And what value it will return? This is a substring in a where clause CLA. CLA equal to chr. That is also false. JOS equal to chr. False. JOS equal to chr. False. And here GRE equal to chr. That is false. And here SMI. First 3 characters only, guys. SMI equal to chr. That is also false. See, now here it is going to verify each and every record. And here again one more record is a false. CHR. CHR equal to chr. That is false. And here again chready@hotmail.com, chr equal to chr. That is false. Whoever the email IDs starts with the chr, those records will be displayed. Let's see here. See that now we are able to see these 3 records. Email ID starts with the chr. So finally that where clause is passed for these 3 records. The where clause is passed for these 3 records. Or else we already discussed, right? Why we need to write all this like this? Because we are practicing the substring function and we are going to understand how this substring function is behaving. And a similar requirement we can use a wildcard character, that is what percentage, like this. It's very simple. CHR percentage, that's it. So email ID like CHR percentage. This is going to give all same results. The people whose email ID starts with the CHR and after CHR that can be anything and any number of characters, any characters are there. It is going to consider as a match. Okay, guys, so this is what, guys, substring functions. So today we just introduced these functions, variables, and the next session, that is on tomorrow, we will discuss about more and more about these functions, guys. So these functions are very, very important, guys. We are going to use these functions in everywhere. I can say that everywhere we are going to use these functions, guys. Okay.